Meghan Markle's new venture, American Riviera Orchard, a lifestyle brand focused on sustainability and artisanal products, is the latest in a series of initiatives that have faced relentless media scrutiny. Critics have been quick to suggest its impending failure, focusing on reported internal struggles, such as difficulty finding a CEO and establishing a clear financial plan. However, much of the commentary appears biased, attacking Meghan herself rather than objectively evaluating the brand's potential. This type of media treatment, disproportionately harsh and personal, echoes broader societal patterns where powerful women, especially those who challenge traditional norms, are often met with undue criticism. This pattern is reminiscent of the historical witch hunts, where women, particularly those who owned land or were perceived as independent, were often targeted. In medieval and early modern Europe, many women accused of witchcraft were property owners or had control over significant resources. Their economic independence threatened patriarchal structures, leading to their persecution. Today, Meghan, a woman of influence who is carving out a distinct path for herself, one that includes control over land and ventures like American Riviera Orchard, faces similarly disproportionate and personal attacks. There is a striking parallel between the media's treatment of Meghan and the way powerful women have historically been demonized for stepping outside prescribed roles. For instance, during the real witch hunts, accusations were often rooted in fear of women's autonomy and the disruption of male-dominated power dynamics. Owning land or managing wealth made women more visible and vulnerable to these attacks. Meghan's venture into a brand that connects with nature and land resonates with that history. As a woman of colour and a figure outside of royal tradition, she embodies modern anxieties about women who assert independence and control, which can make her an easy target for smear campaigns disguised as business critiques. The media has consistently projected its discomfort with Meghan's independence, wealth, and influence. Her brand's association with artisanal products and sustainability could be seen as an empowering endeavour, yet it's portrayed as a red flag and a risky venture. This mirrors how independent, land-owning women were historically viewed with suspicion and targeted in witch hunts, deemed unnatural or dangerous for stepping outside their expected domestic roles. This media-driven hostility toward Meghan, often centred around her ventures, success and influence, is part of a broader historical pattern of undermining women who wield economic power or challenge established systems. In conclusion, Meghan Markle's experience with American Riviera Orchard is emblematic of the ongoing witch hunt against her, echoing the treatment of powerful women across history. The media's bias is apparent in its eagerness to cast doubt on her efforts, often based on unfounded fears or personal prejudices rather than the merit of her work. Meghan's ability to weather this storm not only reflects her resilience, but also highlights the persistent societal discomfort with women who dare to be powerful, autonomous, and independent in their choices and endeavours. Prince Harry's recent visit to South Africa, which included an emotional gathering around a campfire, provided a powerful platform for him to deliver an impassioned call for people to start listening. His message was clear. There is a growing need for those in positions of influence and power to not only hear the voices of marginalised communities, but also to act upon their concerns. This statement is more than just a plea. It reflects Harry's ongoing advocacy for underrepresented voices, particularly in Africa, where he has a deep personal connection. Harry's use of the phrase, "people need to start listening," can be understood as a challenge to leaders and decision-makers who hold the power to effect change. In a world where inequality, poverty, and health crises, such as HIV/AIDS, continue to impact millions, he argues that real progress will only come when those in power actively engage with the needs of vulnerable populations. His statement can be seen as a response to the often top-down approach to global development issues, where policies are made without adequately consulting or involving the communities they affect. By emphasising listening, Harry underscores the importance of empathy and collaboration in addressing systemic issues like HIV, which disproportionately impacts children and young people in sub-Saharan Africa. During this visit, Harry also reconnected with his long-standing philanthropic work, particularly through his charity Sentabale, which he co-founded with Prince Seeiso of Lesotho in 2006. Sentabale works primarily with children in Lesotho, Botswana and Malawi who are living with or affected by HIV. The charity provides critical support services, including healthcare, education, and psychosocial assistance, with a focus on the youth, a demographic that Harry has always been passionate about. His visit to Southern Africa highlights the ongoing struggles faced by these communities and his dedication to supporting them. Harry's history with Africa runs deep, having spent significant time in Lesotho during his gap year in 2004, an experience that shaped much of his later humanitarian work. His connection to the continent, particularly to causes involving children and HIV/AIDS, mirrors his mother, Princess Diana's own efforts to raise awareness of the HIV crisis during the 1990s. This personal link to both his mother's legacy and his own early experiences has been a driving force behind his ongoing efforts in Africa. This trip comes at a time when Harry is not just highlighting humanitarian work, but also continuing to navigate the complexities of his public life. In the shadow of his departure from royal duties and strained family relations, his visit to South Africa is a reaffirmation of his commitment to the causes that matter most to him. He has managed to maintain a steady presence in the global charity sphere, despite the often critical and divided public opinion surrounding his and Meghan Markle's departure from the UK and the royal family. Beyond Sentabale, Harry's broader mission in Africa is to draw attention to the continued need for global solidarity in tackling health inequities. With Southern Africa being one of the regions most affected by HIV/AIDS, Harry's advocacy remains focused on ensuring that these issues do not fall off the global agenda. His call for more listening is not just a metaphor for empathy, it's a rallying cry for action, urging international leaders and organisations to step up their efforts and include local voices in crafting sustainable solutions. Overall, Prince Harry's visit to South Africa is not just another royal appearance, but a deeply personal journey that reflects his long-standing relationship with the continent and his commitment to humanitarian causes. By calling for more listening, Harry reminds the world of the importance of compassion, collaboration, and the need to amplify the voices of those who are too often silenced.